Hi, I'm Chris Grimm. Welcome. This is Deep Work Fast. I'm an executive coach and a consultant. I'm the founder of RE Consulting that I started about 28 years ago. And because of that, I started this. This is called Deep Work Fast. And every week I drop a blog and then I come on to bring you in 20 minutes or less tools, ideas, and concepts to help you be the best that you can be in all the roles of your life at work and at home. This week, I want to address a topic that seems to sneak up on people, regardless of age or gender. Sooner or later, this thing comes up. And it's the idea that you might need to make friendships as an adult. And that's really different than the way we made friendships when we were children, in high school, maybe college, if you went to college, or in your early years of work before you were probably married or had children. If that's you, maybe you're one of those people and you're still in those times of your life. And I just want you to know that sooner or later, making friends feels different. For some people, it can feel hard or awkward. Most of us are used to meeting new people and forming relationships in structured networking environments, in work environments where we're kind of thrown together with people and end up working with people and aligning with people and finding out we have relationships with them because of an affinity to something. It's usually our work, our industry, a specialty, something in your career. Also, many people I know end up having adult friendships with people who are the parents of your children's friends. So if your kids have played sports or other extracurricular activities, because you're spending a lot of time with your kids at these events, soccer tournaments and lacrosse tournaments and baseball games, you get to be friends with the kids' parents. And that becomes your friend group for a while. But eventually, you change jobs, you move cities, your kids get old. Maybe your childhood friends have also moved away, or you just have changed. And so all of those friendships and relationships can get to a point where they don't feel the same anymore. Or maybe you just long for something new. Or you feel a void because you've changed and you want friends that do something else. And like I said, because we're used to making friends and nurturing relationships because of all of those other situations and contexts, starting fresh or starting from scratch as an adult can feel weird. So I have some ideas for you, something that I've been coaching people on for a while. I have about 7 different ideas for you. Hopefully one, if you're in this situation or you know sooner or later you will be, hopefully one of these will resonate and you will make it happen. So let's talk about the 7 things that you can do if you're an adult and you're looking for new kinds of friendships and relationships. So the number one thing is to leverage something that you love. So that sounds easy, but what's interesting is a lot of people sometimes are still feeling shy or awkward about joining a group of people they don't know, even though what they all might be doing together is something they love. I mean things like, if you love soccer, joining a group of people who are fans of the same soccer team as you. And maybe you start by just joining them for games at a local pub. Or maybe they all travel to see that team when that team, if they're not a local team, comes to the city. Or maybe they all travel around, and I know people who do that. By doing something that you love already, first of all, it'll be less awkward because, well, you already have something to talk about that you know all the other people know how to talk about. So this is an easy one, this number 1, right? Now, sometimes the hard part for people I coach is identifying something that you love outside of work, because you've been working and working and working so much, maybe, or dedicating your life to your children for a really long time. This is something I hear from both men and women. When their kids leave home, they start to realize that part of that big void that's left is that they've spent a lot of years doing kid stuff. And now you have space and time that is open, and you want to fill it with something. And because maybe you haven't leaned into a hobby, maybe you're not golfing as much as you'd like, maybe you're not traveling as much as you'd like, maybe you want to do art, maybe you want to do something. So herein lies the number one thing you can do is lean into what you want to do. Now I want to stress that I'm talking about you personally. You may want to do some things with your spouse. You still might want to do things with your grown children or maybe even people from work. But the idea is that you're going to tap into something that will give you joy so that the other people you meet in the process will become natural friends. I have an example, one last example about this, where a gentleman I know loves planes. He's a pilot. He also loves to refurb old planes and bring them into air shows, World War II, and I don't even know all the different planes that they work on. So of course he volunteers at an air museum, and every weekend or so he's there with a whole group of men and women who clean those planes and refurb the planes and get them show ready. Sometimes they even get to fly those planes. It's a great example of something that he adores and loves and wants to do all the time. And now he has a whole tribe of people that are in that community. They all love the same thing and they love spending time together because they're doing that thing. Okay, I think you get it. I hope you do that. Okay, number 2 is if you haven't really leaned into a hobby or something fun that you love, love, love in your life, well, no better time than now. So if you've been thinking about taking cooking classes, pottery classes, traveling more, whatever your bucket list items to do, start now, find your people, and then maybe there's beginner versions of that. So the friends that you will make are the people who are also just starting to do that. Again, lots to talk about when you are learning how to do something with people who are also interested in doing it. These are easy ways to form adult relationships without any weird awkwardness and not knowing what to say. Okay, so let's talk about number 3. This is not as easy, but I find that the people who do it, it's interesting, it's fun. If you're a hard charger, a high achiever, someone who's, built your career doing big things, this might appeal to you. The idea is to form an investment group. I did not say a volunteer group, so please listen to what I'm saying. To form an investment group with a small group of like-minded people who have resources, which usually mean time and money and a network to leverage, to address either a big problem that you want to help solve, and now you have the resources, the time, the energy, and the network to do that together. I know a group of very successful music industry gentlemen who joined together to bring technology into inner city schools and boys and girls clubs. They had to invest some of their own money, time, and network, and because they were all very accomplished and they knew how to write a business plan and deploy that, they were able to get sponsorship from local businesses and even some big national businesses, and not just solve the problem in one school or a boys and girls club. They were able to spread it around to cities all in a certain area. So I want you to think about that, because like I said, that is not as easy as my first 2 ideas. But I promise you, the relationships that we make when we are in service to something bigger than ourselves are very special, because we know we're giving back. And so it takes kind of part of people's personal agendas and the competition and the things that sometimes can get in the way of our friendships. It tends to make those things minimized, and it helps us galvanize around outcomes that help other people. And if you're passionate about it, maybe because you were young and maybe you didn't have the technology when you were young, so you want to make sure other kids don't experience what you did. It's a really great way to tap into service, but also investment. And when I call it an investment, by the way, I mean we should expect some return on it. So some groups actually start nonprofits or businesses or B Corps or C Corps or whatever structure you all use. I trust that you'll figure out what is the right one. But starting something that is an investment in the community, an investment in your state, an investment in a group of people, and we want the returns, right? So you might not get rich off this. You probably don't need that. But there is an investment that comes back that's exponential so that all the people involved feel like they're winning. So I know that's a little bit harder, but if you have the wherewithal and this sparks some interest in you, I would love to talk to you more about it, and I can introduce you to people who have already done it. Okay, the number 4 thing is to travel. So many people say they want to travel, and often what I hear when I am coaching professionals who are deep into their career is that we push it off. We think it's someday that's going to happen. When I retire, I'm going to live 3 months here and 3 months here and 3 months there, or we're going to travel for a whole year, whatever. Don't put it off. If you want to expand your adult relationships, travel is a fantastic way to do that. You can network with people in the cities and places where you're going to be. I know you have a network already. You would leverage that network into the places where you're going to be traveling. So if you decide, you know what, never been to Asia, we're going to do a big trip there, here's what's going to happen. I promise as you're planning that trip, if you want to meet people, you will find ways to do that. I'm actually getting ready for a trip to Asia, and one of the ways that I'm doing that is taking cooking classes, because that seems to be a thing now. So in almost any country or city that you're in, they have that for people who are tourists. And you can do really high-end versions, like go to Italy and drink wine and make pasta. Awesome. Go to Asia, learn how to make pho. You can do that. So use travel as a way to be interesting and to be interested. And that's a really great foundation for adult relationships, right? Is be interested and be interesting. You may have heard that before, but I think it's really important when you want relationships that you're going to nurture and keep for a while. I want to say something maybe I didn't say earlier either, and I find with adults, and sometimes I even find it for myself, that you go through a point in time in your career, maybe in your 20s and 30s, and you're really busy and you might be building a family at the same time. And so oftentimes your adult relationships, like you're squeezing it in, so it needs a goal. And I know a lot of people who will say that to me, like, what's the point of me spending time with these people? My life's already full. And so if you think that, and I used to think that, I want you to stand back and just note that if you take your foot off the gas a little bit on the career side, you will want to be fulfilled in different ways. And the social aspects of your relationships can be incredibly fulfilling when we expand our criteria for our own personal success. That was big, right? Yeah, it takes some thinking, but I know when it shows up, like I said, it's surprising for many people, and so hopefully I'm bringing it up now so that when it shows up for you, it won't be surprising. Okay, number 5 thing is to mentor people. So by mentoring, you can do that in a structured way. There are mentor programs. If you went to undergraduate, most likely the school where you got your diploma has a coaching and mentoring program for alums to come back and work with juniors, seniors, maybe even early entrance students in their first few years to try and help them make career decisions, get their resume together, practice for interviews, whatever it is. There is a way for you to contribute, and mentorship programs are a great way for you to give back, but also you'll meet the other mentors. You'll meet all the students. You may even meet the students' parents. I know I have done that for my alma mater. It's amazing. You meet really amazing people, and of course it's not like a weird networking situation. You're actually helping these kids, and so there's a lot of feels in a good way. It's a great way to use your time, and you can have new relationships. The number 6 way is to teach a class. Now, you might say, wait a minute, how's that going to help me with my relationships? I have found that working professionals that want to give back, who go to community colleges, go to local colleges, state schools, and adjunct or guest speak in classes tend to expand their social network. You could also co-teach a class in your area of expertise at a local school. I promise you there is so much opportunity for this. Schools want competent professionals who have not just been teachers. They need a balance of professors who have been professors their whole career and people like you who have had jobs instead of teaching to come back into the classroom and help prepare new graduates, both undergraduate and graduate school, for real life. And there's nobody better than you to do that in your area of expertise. So I highly recommend you look into it. There's all these online universities now, not just brick and mortar or hybrids. I'm telling you, there's a need. So reach out, inquire in your area of expertise, meet the dean of the school, email them. You may already know people that you haven't really thought about doing this with. See if you could teach a class or co-teach a class with a professor so that you could bring the real world into the classroom. And everybody wins. And it's easy, by the way, because you know you've been doing it for a long time. It's not like you have to sit and write a lot of curriculum because you do it every day. So chances are you could brainstorm the top 10 things someone in a certain career will run into in the first 10 years of their career, and you could do 10 different classes just working on those 10 real life scenarios. See, I just did it for you. Okay, try it. It's wonderful. Number 7, last thing, is rekindling relationships that maybe have faded, that you miss. So if you've gotten busy and there are people in your life who you have not been in contact with for a long time, I urge you to reach out to them. Now, every year around the holidays, I do a deep work fast and I talk about this thing in particular. I think we're all so busy, we're running hard, and we tend to all interact with the same small group of people over and over again. So reach back into your past, maybe even through your LinkedIn, maybe people you met at conferences in the past and you really enjoyed them. Maybe you learned something from them. Maybe they learned something from you and you want to rekindle that. You want to have this relationship maybe now and in the future. Not because you need a goal for it, but because you just missed the person, you loved their sense of humor, you like bantering with them about some topic in your industry, whatever it is. Right? So you can do that. Okay, I've given you a lot. That's 7 different things. They are listed in the blog. The link is below. It's like a 2-minute read. So it'll just remind you of what I'm saying. I hope you pick one of these things. Our relationships make us better. I know I don't need to talk you into that, but I also know that it's not easy when we're adults. So thank you for joining me for Deep Work Fast. I will see you next week, and don't forget to grab the blog. Okay, bye.